All right. Yeah, that's what's going to go on YouTube. All right, great. So, so when we look at it, when you're dying bed, for me, I've had to do that. This is like teach it, write down for myself, in every important relationship in my life, what I would love to say or will be said about me by those people, that would signify for me that I've lived a fulfilling life. What I want my parents to say about me, what I want my wife to say about me, what I want my children to say about me, what I want my siblings to say about me, what I want my nephews, my nieces, my relatives to say about me, my friends, my work colleague, I have all of that written down in black and white, and every day I live that. That is what I want to be my end goal. But my end goal will not come at the end. It's got to be what I begin to do today that will produce that. It's not magical, right? It's not destiny. It's not fate. Again, don't forget, you are the captain of your soul. You are the captain of this body, this life, this soul. You are the one directing it where you ought to go, right? No other person is doing that. You are responsible for this ship called you, right? You are the master of its fate. You are the master of its destiny. However, it's going to end when you're there, you're dying bed. You are going to be the responsible party. No other person will be responsible but you. On that dying bed, you are going to be the responsible party. No other person but you will be responsible for who you end up being like, right? It doesn't matter how you started. It doesn't matter where you are right now, but it matters where you end. And that end is determined by you. You are the master of it, right? You're the one leading the ship to the destination it's going to go or it's going to arrive at. Wherever you're going to be tomorrow is because you made an appointment to be there. Yeah, right. It's not going to be anybody's fault. It's not going to be Tinubu's fault. It's not going to be Nigeria's fault. It's not going to be election fault. It's not going to be anybody's fault but you. You are the master. You are the captain. And you need to start working right now, right? So pretty much, when we look at this book again, it's a result of 84-year plus study, right, from the Harvard Study Center of Adult Development that spent 84 years plus, doing a study. And this is a compilation of the results of the people they've studied, right? And this set of people include John F. Kennedy, right? They collected several data of these people, just to be able to see what is it that makes for a healthy life, a fulfilling life, a happy life, right? And the compilation of that study, result of those studies, is what's been put into this book. And that's what we're trying to study. We're trying to learn from what they've done, how to live a fulfilling life, a happy life, right? So, and the result, again, that I said, the conclusion of the matter, what we're going to hand in all of this is that they've said a good relationship keeps us healthier and happier, period. Nothing else. It's not religion. It's nothing else. If you're going to be healthy in this, live a healthy life and a happy life, a fulfilling life, it's going to be a function of the relationships in your life, right? The relationships in your life. Every other thing comes to help that relationship, whether it be religion, culture, tradition, whatever. The ability to use that to have a good quality relationships in your life is what is going to determine whether you're going to live a fulfilling life or not. Full stop. Right? So obviously we're talking about relationship with God, right? Or for those of you who don't believe in God, is whatever you have chosen that is bigger than you. If you have nothing bigger than you in your life, you can never live a fulfilling life. You'll be sad all the days of your life. To be happy, you must have something you are living for, something you are looking up to, something that you have decided that is bigger than you. That's the reason, the purpose for your life. If you don't have that, you cannot be, you have not even started. You must have a reason, a purpose, in your life, if you're going to live a rewarding life, right? So it's a good relationship with that. It's a good relationship with yourself. It's a good relationship with other people, including your wife, your children, parents, your siblings, your relations, your neighbors, your leaders, right? So few things promise us greater happiness than our relationship, so says the school of life, right? Tells us, that few things promise us a greater happiness, right, than our relationship. It's all about the relationship that gives us a quality of life, our relationship with God, our relationship with ourselves, and our relationship with others, right? Our error is our error is to suppose that we're born knowing how to love and manage, and that managing a relationship might be therefore be intuitive and easy. It's not. It's not. None of us is born knowing how to relate. I can tell you that from my life experience. I would have thought I'm a very good person at relating, but I've been a failure at several fronts. From a relationship angle, I thought at some point in time I didn't need to toast. Whatever would be. So I thought. So when I proposed to my wife, I just said this and this. I'm waiting for your answer. I didn't go with a flower, all of that beautiful stuff, and she delayed answering, right? Because I wasn't romantic, right? When it comes to romantic relationship, there are laws that guide it. A lot of you would not get the wife you deserve, the wife that's really supposed to be yours because of your foolishness, your ignorance. All right. There are laws around romantic relationship. There are laws around ordinary relationship. There are laws around ordinary friendship, right? And if you don't know it, you will not succeed in those relationships. Like we popularly say, right? A lot of people divorce not because they don't love one another, not because the emotions of love have dried up, but just because they lack understanding. They don't know how it is to live together. They don't know how it is to relate with a spouse, right? They can relate with a friend, but to relate with a spouse in a small space in the same house is a problem. They lack understanding, right? A lot of people think we know naturally. You just know. You don't just know. You have to learn to know. If you don't learn, you won't know, right? Then there's no braggadocio around it. You either know or you don't know, right? Failure in romantic relationship is simply out of ignorance, right? And we'll learn this. That's the reason why we're doing this. Hopefully we'll get to that point. We can learn that and see that, right? There are laws around every kind of relationship that there is, whether it be relationship in the office, right? I used to think that I could do without playing politics in the office. Well, that's why I'm no higher than I am. There are laws, there are rules of engagement in every area you find yourself, in the office, in the church, at home. There are rules of engagement, right? You don't just do the way you feel. You don't just do things because you have the right to. You might win the battle, but lose the war, right? Life is about not just winning battles. It's about winning the war, right? You're about men most miserable. All you do is win battles and lose the war. The war is more important than the battle, right? And that's all we're trying to look at here in different segments, right? So it's not intuitive. It's just like parenting also, it's not intuitive. There are rules of engagement in parenting, right? You need to learn them if you're going to be the best parent there is, right? That's another way of relating with our children, right? There are rules of engagement. It's not natural. It's not the way you feel. It's not the way you think. It's the way that it is. You need to know the rules of engagement for you to be a good parent, right? So it's not intuitive. We're going to learn that as we go along. The other thing we say is our choice needs to be cultivate warm relationship of all kinds. All right, the choices we'll make needs to cultivate warm relationships of all kinds in all places that we find ourselves. As I was thinking about this, I think about two particular engagements in the workplace right now where I have the right to come hard on two people, right? I have the right. They have put themselves in such a place that if I do that, I will be right. I'll be justified. But the question is, if I win that battle, will I win the war? Right? The hurt that will come out of my bruising them, will it make me win the war of full relationship for the lifetime of engagement with these people? Right? I have to look at that. It's not about just today. It's about tomorrow. It's about continuous conservation of that relationship, right? That's important, right? So those are some things we're going to look at and probably share with ourselves as we will go along here, right? The School of Life talks about that love is a skill to be learned, right? It's not just emotion to be felt. Love is a skill to be learned. It's not just emotion, right? It's felt. And that comes to me because, sometimes I see some people that are really beautiful, I'm a Christian, I'm a pastor, I'm a teacher, right? I'm still human. So if I meet someone that's stunningly beautiful, things fall apart all around me, and I really don't know what's going on, but it's just because I'm human, right? But do I then become a slave, a servant to my feelings? There are a lot of people that have been. That's what causes people to be womanizers, right? Because a man is made to respond to the glory of a woman. A woman doesn't have to be naked for a man to be aroused, right, and confused. She just needs to be beautiful, right? Do we then stop women from being beautiful? That's what a lot of sects do. They make women ugly, so that they think they can protect the men by making the women ugly. So God gotta be foolish. God made the woman ugly. God made the woman beautiful for a reason. He understood that the man will be aroused by the beauty of a woman. She doesn't have to be naked. So God is the guilty party then. No, she's made beautiful because that is the way God created it. Because God expects the man to have a responsibility of controlling himself. That is why we call a lady, a woman, a lady. A woman that's well kept, we call her a lady. A man that is in control of himself, we call him a gentleman, right? Just because you're a man doesn't make you a gentleman. Your ability to comport yourself, even in the midst of beauty, even nakedness, is called gentleman, right? It's a quality. It's what makes you a man, a total man, right? So love is a skill to be learned, right? Just because you're all aroused doesn't mean you love the person, right? That's how a lot of men just run it after everything is scared and they keep chasing, never ended. I was just reading a story earlier on today of someone who was married to 4 wives, goes to rape a 14-year-old. He doesn't have 1 wife, he has 2, 3, 4, yet he goes to rape a 14-year-old. That's someone that has no clue what love is, that has no control of himself, right? There's a place to hold yourself together. Just because your whole body's dancing doesn't mean you should dance. It means you should hold yourself together. It doesn't mean you should make the woman ugly for that purpose also. God made her beautiful for a reason. You're not bigger than God. Let her be. Hold yourself together. Learn what love is. Learn how to comport yourself. Learn how to hold your emotions together, right? That is our responsibility, not the woman's responsibility, right? All right. We can learn the key issues of relationship. We can learn about argument to sex, forgiveness to communication, making sure that success and love need never again to just be a matter of luck, right? Success in relationship, love doesn't have to be luck. There are skills to doing it. There are ways of doing it. There are rules of engagement, and that's hopefully what we can learn as we share this time together, So one relationship choice need to be one that will make over and over again, right? It's not the one time that you make it, because you're gonna make several things, right? You meet this, you conquer it. You meet that, you conquer it. That's relationship is someone will meet every day. Unless you want to be a hermit, then you will not have to relate or interact with other people. But for long as you're interacting with people, you meet different kinds of people. You meet people that will make you soft. You meet people that will make you hard. You meet people that want to make you other than who you are. And you have to always make the right decision to win every battle, right, that you find yourself in, right? Some you might have to allow yourself to lose so you can win the war, right? So the battles to obviously win, stand your feet down. You need to know the battles where you probably allow things to be just for the sake of the bigger cause, right? So that's important. So as far as we are alive, we're required to make decisions, right? Over and over again, second by second, week by week, year by year. As a man in a relationship, in marriage, you know that you have to make that in your marriage every time, right? Your husband is either this or that. Suddenly he comes up with a new one, or she comes up with a new one, and you have to comport yourself, right? There's no place in marriage where it becomes autopilot. It's a decision to have a happy marriage every day, every week, every month, every year, right? That's the way to have a happy marriage, a healthy marriage. Because you make a decision yesterday doesn't mean that you don't make one today. The sacrifice you made yesterday does not stop the sacrifice you need to make today. And that includes also relationships with our children and with other people in our lives. It's a decision we make every time to win, right? So if you want to be happy, you need to set a goal to command your thoughts. You need to set a goal that commands your thoughts, liberates your energy and inspires your hope. So says Andrew Carnegie, right? You need to set a goal for your life. And that's one of the things I said earlier on, whatever that goal be for your the relationships in your life, right? Whether it be that life goal of when I die, right? What do I want to be said about me? Hey, and death is not necessarily far out there. We don't know when death will come, right? We prepare for death in the short term and in the long term, because only God knows the number of days that we have been given, right? So when it comes to death, you don't postpone, because you don't know. You don't know. None of us knows. We pray for long life, no doubt, but God has not told us when the time will be, right? So we make that decision, to end well, right? We know the goals we want, right? And we allow that to control our thoughts, liberate our energy, and inspire our hope, right? As Andrew Carnegie shares with us. Dennis Whitley also says happiness cannot be traveled to, right? Happiness is not something in the future. It's not something far away from you. When I get to America, I'll be happy. When I get to London, I'll be happy. No. You gotta be happy wherever you find yourself, in the village where you are right now. If you cannot be happy in the village where you are right now, you're not gonna be happy anywhere else. If you're not gonna be happy as a single, you will not be happy as a married person. If you're not gonna be happy when you don't have children, you will not be happy when you have children, right? If you can't be happy as a teen, you will not be happy as a young adult. You will not be happy as an old person. Happiness is what we're designed for now, not tomorrow. Because if you can't have it now, you can have it tomorrow, right? So Dennis Whitley says happiness cannot be traveled to, honed, hand, won, or consumed. Happiness is a spiritual experience of living every minute. This is a spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude, right? Happiness is for living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude. If you cannot live every minute with love, grace, and gratitude, you cannot have it any other time, right? So happiness has nothing to do with what you have or what you don't have. It has nothing to do with where you are or where you're not. It's simply a choice, a decision to enjoy what you have now, right? So, one relation choices, have been found in one study after another to contribute to enduring joy and flourishing lives, right? Pretty much repeating all what we have said. They are not always easy to make. They're not always easy to make, right? Because human beings are pretty much just complex, right? I have some areas I find myself, and I want to relate with some people, but they're difficult not to crack, because in relating with them, they want to look down on you. They carry themselves bigger than life. So I can't control the way they're disposed, but I have to also then not to be controlled by who they are. I have to, in spite of them, still be me, In spite of them, still be me. In spite of them, still make a relationship decision goal for myself that would not change the person that I am, that will not make me anything different from who I am, that will not take away my happiness and my joy, right? In spite of them, I still have to make the right decisions, not the decisions that go necessarily with my feelings, but what makes sense and what is right for that particular engagement. So even in those areas, I have to learn what are the rules of engagement, right? So that I can come out unsoiled. I can come out victorious, even in such circumstances of life, right? So making warm relation choices are not always easy to make, right? You have people I have my goddaughter, have gone through a terrible time, and she's in that decision, in our marriage. Here those are not straightforward answers. And I can't even tell her what to do because some decisions have to be personal, right? So I can pretty much guide her around the different choices, but the final choice still has to come from her, right? So there are rules of engagement, even in that circumstance. Nothing is slam dunk per se, because you can't guarantee at the end of the day what the other person's response will be. All you can do is engage her right. Make sure that you have done your own part, right? Do your own part responsibly. Sow your seeds, right? And leave the harvest to God. Sow your seeds and leave the harvest to God, right? That's all you can do. So making those warm relation choices are not always necessarily easy, right? We get in our own way, maybe due to baggages we have carried in our own life, maybe due to our own feeling of inferiority complex, maybe due to our worries, our fears, sometimes all of that gets in our way, right? Or from us being able to get the best out of the relationship engagements in our life. That as we discuss this, hopefully we can take away those noise from our relationship so that the music can come up pure and we can get the best of engagement, in relationships in our life, So sometimes we get in our way, we make mistakes sometimes, right? And we get hurt by people we love just as much as we hurt some people also, but hopefully we can get better by knowing that's the reason why we're here. We can get better understanding, and we can begin to reduce some of this noise in our relationship so that the music can come out pure, right? So the path to good life is not easy, but it is possible. It's not easy, but it's possible. It's not easy, but it's possible. That's why we're doing this, right? So human beings are full of surprises and contradictions. We don't always make sense. Just having some engagement with one of my people on my secondary school page WhatsApp group today, and he was just on a tangent and I was on another tangent, and it seemed like both of us were making sense from two different angles, and that's human beings. All we needed to do is calm down and understand one another, right? We don't always make sense. If only we believe that, it will help. We'll help ourselves. Sometimes we think we're making sense, but we're not making sense to the other person. Like Stephen Covey would say, and I believe that's a third habit of highly effective people: seek to understand. Right? Seek to understand before you seek for people to understand you. If all of us would do that, communication will be easy. If you know where the other person is coming from, then you're then able to latch onto that, while I just wanted to give my own opinion, my own view, right? Seek to understand. Then it's easier for them to understand you, because then you can address them from the place where you have understood them, right? Hopefully we'll learn this as we go along. So love, happiness, relationship are skills to be learned, rather than just emotions to be felt. Love, happiness, relationship as a whole, they are skills to be learned. We can get better and related, right? Rather than just emotions to be felt. They're skills. There's a way we can have them all the time. They are not coincidence. They are not accidents. Love is not an accident. Happiness is not an accident. Good, healthy relationships are not accidents. We can learn how to cultivate them right, and get the best value from them, right? So John F. Kennedy, who is a part of this study that was done by the Harvard School, said life is never easy, right? There's work to be done and obligations to be met. Obligations to truth, to justice, and to liberty. We have obligations to truth, to justice, and to liberty. And I get to share my own life most of the time as we do this. When we did the last study, our last book, I shared a lot about my business because that had to do with business. The title of the book was Business is Personal by, what's the name again? But business personal, that's always did. I will talk about relationship, probably you get to hear a lot about my battles, my wars and relationship, and what qualifies me to be able to do this, because I've had ups and downs. That's the only reason why I'm able to share about relationship, because I've had relationship wars. I've lost some, I've won some, right? And I'm still learning. I'm still getting better every day, right? So that's why it's easy for me to share it. So this is what I read in a book. Is the life I have lived, right? It's a life I have lived. It's a life I am still living, right? But part of, as we win that, you have to have an obligation to truth, to justice, and to liberty, right? Because the universe is always going to be watching you. It's going to judge you, right? Your judgment of your life, the judgment of your relationship will be based on the truth that's in it, the justice that's in it, and the liberty, right, that you are affording, right? So happiness and wholeness come from understanding. If you don't understand, you will not be able to be happy. You will not be able to live whole. The prayers our elders used to pray in my native dialect for marriages is, let me you have understanding. In Yoruba, will say, right? That is for you both of you to understand one another. That's what it takes to have a healthy, life-giving relationship. When you don't have understanding between the partners, you're obviously going to have disaster, divorce, right? You need to understand one another and be willing to come down to each other's level, to carry each other up, right? For your relationship, your marriage to prosper. Same thing with your relationship with your children, your parents, your siblings. It comes from understanding. You have to seek understanding, right? And submit to understanding. Scripture, the Bible says that wisdom is a principal thing in all you're getting, get understanding. I carry it forward and I say, get sense. Wisdom is a principal thing in all you're getting, get sense, get understanding. It will help you. Right. In closing here, what we're going to be looking at as we go through the study, this just lists some of the things that we're going through as we go through the study, as we go through the book, we're going to be looking at why do relationships seem to be the key to flourishing life. What's it about relationship that makes our lives to flourish, right? We'll be looking at that. That's in some sense easy, but it could look difficult also. It goes into the place of business. Right now I have a farm, and my farm flourishing or not is a whole lot rested on my relationship with my workers, right? I'm not there all the time. They are the ones that are there, right? And my relationship with them makes all the difference. My ability to transfer myself to them such that they're able to chase the same vision that I am chasing. They are the ones fulfilling the vision that I have, because I don't have my hands on deck, right? But I pay them salary to buy their time to fulfill my vision. The extent to which that relationship works is the extent to which I am able to get the effectiveness from it, right? We'll talk more about that. The other things we'll be looking at, what factors in early childhood shape physical and mental health in mid and life and late life, looking at what factors are most strongly associated with longer lifespan or with healthy relationship. You know, some of the things we're looking at as we go on in this study. But for today, that's all we really have, looking at our fourth session here in chapter 1. Next week, Sunday, we'll have a fifth and maybe final session in chapter 1 before we move on to chapter 2. I hope you learned something from this little time together. You know, this is going to be put or saved on my profile here on Instagram. Finally, I'm doing live on Instagram. The last 2 times I thought I wasn't, but I guess this time I am. And at least I have Endurance here waved at me. So he's seeing this on Instagram. So we'll get to store this on my profile on Instagram. I also have this being saved, streaming live on Facebook, and I'm going to download it on YouTube also. So I hope it blesses you, you know, but if you have any question, anything you want us to draw more on, discuss more on, feel free to comment and we can do that, you know. So I'm here to learn just as much as I'm here to share mine also. Don't forget, I'm not just reading mine, I'm reading these 2 books. We're sharing from these 2 books and more, right? So I'm learning. Hopefully you are learning and getting something else also, and our lives can become better, can become whole. That's the whole essence why I do this, you know, and I hope it blesses you. All right, till we'll see you next Sunday. Have a great week ahead. There's the last few days of July and the first full partial week of August. So best of the new month. We thank God for July. I wish you the very best in this week and in the new month. God bless you. See you next Sunday. Bye-bye.